Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Women in Design It program. My name is Mariam Abubakar, as Mariam Ibrahim introduced. I am the lead graphic designer at Rahza Software and creative director at Idea Tank Creative Agency. So I will be taking you guys through the basic, taking you through basic Illustrator today. Show you guys around Illustrator, show you all the things you need to know and all things necessary. So I will show you my screen, how to create new files, all the tools and things like that. So without further ado, let's get started. So can everyone see my screen? Everyone can see my screen? Okay, good. All right, so when you open up Illustrator, this is what it's meant to look like. So it has presets. So Illustrator comes with preset dimensions. So all these things at the top here are the preset dimensions to help you create your files quicker. And then what you see here are past works that I have done. And let's start by creating a new document. Okay? So to create a new document, you click on Create New. You click on Create New, and then you would have this new document dialog box. So do that. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, so I hope everyone has this in front of them. So let's go through what this is. So what you have here is your new document dialog box. You have preset dimensions. So one thing you have to know, you have to know your measurements in Illustrator or anytime you're designing, whether it's in pixels, inches, or centimeters. Sometimes they do it in millimeters, but that's if you know how to convert them. But I would say stick to the three major ones, which are pixels, inches, and millimeters. Okay, so depending on what version of Illustrator you're using, you might see different things. I am using Adobe CC 2020. Okay, and then so what we have here are things for mobile, web, print, film and video, and art and illustrations. So this alone should tell you what Illustrator can do. So you can use Illustrator to create apps like these, icons, things for your iPad, so screens for your iPad, screen for your desktop, Instagram stories, if you want to go into that realm. And then the good thing about Illustrator is that they have preset dimensions, so you don't have to go about Googling what dimension is for an iPhone X, iPhone 7, iPhone 8. They also have for web. So they have for web large, normal websites. So that's to show you can create your website UI using Illustrator as well. You can also create things for print, so things you want to print out. Okay, so they have these in letter, A4, legal, B5. So if you want to design things that will later be printed, this is the dialog, this is where you want to be. And the good thing with Illustrator is they have like presets. So pre-designed things that you could use and manipulate. Then we now have film and video. So these are your overlays, so your animations, the things you want to animate maybe in a different software. This is the place to be. Art and illustration. This is for people who like to draw or create patterns, okay? So, but for this class, I have a preset of my own. I do 500 pixels by 500 pixels, which is right here. To create pixels, to make sure it's in pixels, you toggle this particular area of.
Mary, someone said they can't see your screen. Can everyone see her screen?
I haven't tested it yet. I just did it.
Mary, try presenting so we'll see. Please, if you're seeing her screen, send a message.
So a lot of you are saying that you can see it now. All right, so we're all good, right? Habiba, can you see my screen? So Yafati says she can't see. Habiba says she can see. I don't know how we can fix Yafati's. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. All right, so all of you guys can see, let's get back to it. Where was I? Yeah, so I have a preset of 500 by 500. So whenever I'm designing a logo, this is the size I use because it gives me enough space to play around. So you make sure you turn it to pixels. Sometimes you might see it tell you points, picas, inches, but just make sure you're on pixels because whenever you're designing for screen, you need to have pixels, okay? Your orientation is how you want your artboard. So in Illustrator, you have artboards. Artboards are like pieces of paper that you can draw on. So how you want your paper to be. I'll refer to it as paper or artboard. How you want your paper to be, whether portrait or landscape. I leave mine at portrait. The number of artboards I'm doing, usually at 6, because I have to create different samples, and each sample is on its own artboard. Under advanced, you have your color mode, your raster effect, and your preview mode. So your color mode is the color, like how would I put this? It is how you want your colors to be. So you have CMYK. So the colors in general are divided into two, CMYK or RGB. RGB is for when you're designing for screens. So if what you're designing is for print, you use CMYK, which means cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. RGB is for screens. Sorry, CMYK is for print. So make sure CMYK is for print, and then RGB is for screens. RGB is red, green, and blue, your primary colors. Your raster effect are the pixels per inch. So these are how many pixels make an inch. Always keep it at 300 because that you want your pictures coming out very, very clear. You do not want to have pixelated pictures. Preview mode, I leave it at default. Nothing, not rocket science there. So you just click create and you have created an artboard. Yeah, so this is what, when you open Illustrator, yours might be different from mine. But this is what you see. You see your artboards, whether you pick 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is what you would have your artboards. That's what you see. I'm going to allow my workstation to look like everyone else's. Then I'll teach you how to convert it while we go through everything on the panel. So if your screen looks like mine, could you indicate, please? Like if what you see on my screen is what you're seeing, kindly indicate so that I know that we're moving at the right pace. So let me share my screen with you guys so that I can see those that indicate to you. All right, so kindly indicate if your screen looks like this. If your Illustrator screen looks like this. Okay, it's not the same. Anybody else? It also depends on the version of Illustrator you all are using. So I just want to know whether or not you can, if you can see your artboard and you can see 2 panels on each side, please indicate. So that I know. Okay, so the fact that no one's indicating, does that mean everybody's screen is different from mine? Okay. Let's try this. Let's see if this will stabilize everybody else's screen. Okay, says hers is in default. Okay, so what you're going to do for me, right? Look at your Adobe Illustrator, go to the top corner where my mouse is, change yours to essential. So these are workspaces. These are for different type of things you're designing. They are tailored to different things you want to design. So we are going to be using essentials today. So click on essentials and tell me if your screen now looks like this.
Please, how did you make your 3 cube one? How do you have 3 different 6 different things.
Artboard. Okay.
Okay.
So what I did is, let's go through the process again. I created an artboard. So I pressed create new, right? So what I did was I pressed create new, put your width and height to be 500 by 500, and then set it to pixels. And then your artboard's here at the side. Let's leave it to 1 so that everyone has the same thing. So just put 1 there if you have that particular section of it, and then you press create. Okay. So Habiba has it. Did everybody else get that? So that we can go through the panels and tools in Illustrator. Okay. Since no one's complaining, I will move forward. Okay. So, like I showed you, we're all going to be using the Essentials workspace. So, what this Farida, what version of um, Illustrator are you using, so that I would know whether it's a version problem, or was it the one assigned given from the class? So I could, or whether you downloaded it on your own. Said not sure. Okay. Does everyone, no matter, I feel like no matter what version of Illustrator you're using, you should have this workspace area. Oh, okay, 2020. 2020, okay. Yes, you should have this. So go to the top corner of your Illustrator, click on it, and go down to Essentials. I don't know whether you guys are having Essentials or Essential Classic. Okay, maybe it's Essential Classic, I think. Okay, what about now? Does everybody else's screen look like this now? Because I feel like this has a lot more and it's showing us a lot more stuff. Maybe this is what you guys are seeing. Yeah, okay. Okay. Perfect. So does everybody else's screen look like this? So that I know. I think on Windows you have to go to the Windows option first to go to the option. Okay, that is okay. I'm using a Mac, so I think like she said, maybe it's a different way for Windows users. Okay, but so that we're all on the same page, let's all use Essentials, not Essential Classic, because you have less tools on the side here, and it is not as bombarded. 1 minute. So let's get started. Let's go through all the tools. Let's go through all the tools so that we can all get acquainted with Illustrator. All right, so let's start off with selection tool. So what that is this helps you select whatever is on your artboard. Okay, we're going to go through these. They're not a lot, so as you use Illustrator, you'll find more, but we are not going to go through every single tool there is in Illustrator because that will take us forever. That will take us forever, and that's not the point. It's just let's get you guys started and moving. So what I'm now, very simple. This is your selection tool, like it says. What you do is select. Your second tool is your direct selection tool. So to be able to illustrate this, I'm going to draw a square on my canvas, on my artboard. So with that, I press this, which is the rectangle, and then I click and I drag on my screen. You click, drag, then let go. Okay? If that's what you want, then okay. Hold on. So the direct selection tool to illustrate, that is directly after the selection tool. Direct selection tool enables you to click on an anchor point. So an anchor point is this dot here. So if you pay attention to your Illustrator, it will notify you whether what you are on is a path or an anchor point. So when I just hover my mouse on top of the dot, it shows you an anchor point. But if I hover it on top of the line, it shows you a path. So that means the distance between two anchor points is a path, okay? The distance between two anchor points is a path. So with direct selection tools, you can use it to select your anchor points. So I have clicked the anchor point itself and I can drag it out. I can manipulate just that anchor point itself. So I can pull. So when you click on just one, you can click and you can drag it out. All right, or even delete it completely. Okay, so that is what the direct selection tool is for. It's enable you do more distinct or more detailed selections. Okay, so back here. The second one is the group selection tool. So you can click multiple at a time, multiple anchor points. So it's enabling me to select the anchor points themselves. Then we have lasso tools, another form of selection. So this under your direct selection tool, everything here is for more meticulous selections. All right. Then you now have your pen tool. This enables you to draw. Enables you to draw whatever you want, like a pencil. All right. Like you're using an actual pen, but you're using it on a computer. Then you have all the other ones. So you can delete an anchor point with your pen, you can add an anchor point, you can just select an anchor point on its own. All these are, to be able to see these, you just right click on the tool itself. All right, then the fourth one on our list of tools is your curvature tool. So you just go, these are for circles. These are for circles if you want to draw anything that is round in general. So you just click and go round. You just click and drag, click and drag. Sometimes you don't even have to drag. You just have to just, wherever you put it, your lines will never be straight when you ever use a curvature tool. Everything you're supposed to create using a curvature tool is supposed to have a curve inside. All right. There we go. You can complete it and make it a shape on its own. Okay. Next, we have and under that as well, you have your arc tool, you have your spiral tool. All right, to help you create spirals, to help you create arcs. Under your shape tool, you have all the shapes you might ever need to design anything. All right. All the shapes you need to design anything. So square, ellipse, polygon, star, straight line, rectangular grid, polar grid, rounded rectangle. Next, we then have your brush tool. So anyone who is deciding, anyone who wants to do digital illustrations, you would use the paintbrush tool a lot because you use it to actually paint. Okay. Then what you can also do is that the paints, you can select it separately and you can move it around. Then under that you now have the blob, but this is the same thing. You paint, takes it as a whole shape and you can move it around. So if you look at the difference between the regular paintbrush tool and the blob paintbrush, is that this is one shape, this is a line. So the paintbrush tool sees each stroke as an individual line, while the blob considers everything as one shape. Okay. Then you now have your pencil tool. This enables you to draw to your heart's desires without considering anchor points. It magically creates the anchor points for you. Okay. We're just going to quickly run through these and so that we can like get checked. Then we now have our type tool. So these are for those who want to type. So anything whenever you press the tool, you can type whatever you want. Okay. Under it as well, you have your type on a path. So these are to type on shapes you've created. All right. You can write anything and it will follow the path you have created. All right. Then we now have vertical type. So this enables you to just write straight down. So that is for your type. So if you notice, whenever I touch something on this side, your properties here your properties on the other side automatically change to match what you're doing. Always like be aware of that, so that in case you want to manipulate anything you're doing, you go over to your properties tool. Then you have your rotates. You use it to rotate things. You pick and you rotate. So like if you pick an anchor point, sometimes you can use your shift key to just go around that particular point itself. But I usually don't use it as much because I prefer to use the reflect. And if you double click, you have a dialog box here, which you can preview what you want to do. You can preview what you want to do using this dialog. Using this, you can press OK. So for example, if I wanted to reflect this and I double click the reflect tool and I put preview, it is reflecting. When you say copy, that means you are creating two of them. You're not you've created a copy and then you've reflected that copy of the object. We have others like scale, shear, tools like that. So that is for something like this, and you want to move, you want to like reshape the shape. So all these are just to help you like make things bigger, smaller, reflect them. That's what this major area is for. Then you now have your eraser tool. Like the same way you have a pencil, you have an eraser. You can erase whatever you want. So these are for those who like drawing and you want to go into digital art. You have the pencil, you have the eraser. Okay. So what it did now was the inside, because it's a full shape. It is not just, it has a fill and a stroke. So I'll tell you guys what that is in a minute, but that will be when I am done with this area. So you have your eraser tool. So those who want to go into drawing, that tool is for you. So I'm creating two shapes because I'm going to show you guys the next tool, which is the shape builder. So the shape builder tool enables you to create shapes from other shapes. But in order to do that, you have to make sure all shapes you want to create are selected, and then you select the shape builder tool. So you see this gray part, that means all you do is click and drag to make one shape. And then the shapes you do not want to involve, you press your, so pay attention to the arrow. If you see it, you can see a plus sign. Then if you press your option key, it turns to a minus sign. Okay? So when it is plus, that means you are joining together. When it is minus, that means you're taking away. Okay, so this is very helpful for people who do logos. So if you're making a logo out of multiple shapes, this is very helpful because it helps you take out things you don't want and leave things you want. Okay, it helps you join, and it is much quicker to use this in order to help you do what you want to do. All right, so the next tool is your gradient tool. So this, you have to make sure it's something like you have to have something selected, have color on it. So so for example here, so it gives you the different types of gradients you want. So there you go. You can move the dials in order to make your gradient look a certain way. So you have what is a gradient? A gradient is a color that moves from one color to another. So this side is white, the other side is black. Gradient is what you see on your screen. You can move each dial separately, and then you can move the middle so you can know, so it will help you decide where you want the middle, and you can move the dial itself. Okay, you can move this on its own. You are not restricted. Okay, so let's return this back. So let's make it look a little bit more normal. Okay, let me shift this a bit this way. Okay, good. I'm okay with that. Then underneath the gradient tool, you have mesh. So this is for to give things a different kind of to make them bend in a certain way. This is for type. So later in the course, we'll be showing you how to use that. Next is the eyedropper. So this helps you pick colors. So if everyone saw what just happened on my screen, this I have given it a color of the gradient, but if I don't want it to have this color and I want it to have the same color as this, what I do is you click on your eyedropper tool, you get the color you want, and you change it. Let's do something a bit more advanced, whereby we give this a different color, which is blue. And then we want this to have the same thing, but we do not want to have to go through the same process of looking for the color and things like that. All we do is press your eyedropper tool, click it, and it takes in the same color, which is very helpful when you have a document that has a lot of colors. Okay, so Next is the width tool. So this is when you've drawn something with your pen. So for example, I'm going to draw something quickly with my pen and show you guys what and to change the width. So I'll show you how that is done. I do not want to fill. And then so that you guys can see it, I'll make it black and increase the stroke. So the width tool now, I'm going to select it. So what it does is you can make things short or small. So whenever you see those ribbons in designs, so for example, if I want to make a ribbon that goes a certain way, I can make this part. All you have to do is click a point and drag. So you click points and you drag. So if, for example, this area, I want to make it much smaller so that it looks like it's going from big to small, and this side as well. I want it to be quite small. So let's try and shrink that in. Big to small, and then this side should be bigger. All right. So that's how that is. So just make sure you're clicking and dragging. So if you click and drag out, it makes it bigger. But if you drag it in, it makes it smaller. So these are very good for ribbons and things like that. We'll be using these later on in the course. This is your blend tool. Your blend tool is for this. This is for when you have multiple. This is best shown when you're doing a project, which will happen later on in the course. Okay, and then we now have artboard. So I've shrinked my screen. So if you want to, so for example, I feel like my artboard right now is occupied with a lot of stuff, but I do not want to delete anything. All I have to do is click on artboard, and I can draw a new artboard of any size and shape. So all you have to do is just click and drag to your heart's desire. To leave here, you just go to your properties panel and you press exit. Your next tool is your zoom tool. So you go from like what it says, you zoom in and you zoom out. So that is for your zoom tool. Then let's go over to colors. So what you see here is, let's click. So I've zoomed in. So let's use our squares. Let's use our squares. So for example, now this square here. Okay, so to move to drag your button, you press your space, you see a hand come out. Then when you click, you can drag and pull however you want. So let's talk about colors. So the color, we're going to be talking about fill and stroke. So that's how Illustrator sees color. It sees it in fill and in strokes. So your fill is blue. So what does that tell you? That means the color inside is blue. Your stroke is the line that goes around the shape. Okay? That goes around the shape. So that is the line that covers it. You can remove it by pressing this little dialog box here that says none. So if you select your shape and you press this, it takes it away. So you no longer have a stroke. Okay? You no longer have a stroke. So, and then same thing with your fill. You can take it away. All right? So you can, same thing, you press it and it's gone. So, but if you double click on the fill, you have your color picker here. So you can select whatever color you want. And if you press OK, it shows you. So if you have this, so this is part of like what happens when play around with your fill. So these are your colors. So what you can do is just click and drag it into your properties panel or here. So all you have to do is click and drag, but you can leave it around and just drag it around if it is obstructing or disturbing you. I'm leaving my own right here because it's not bothering me. So back to colors. Back to colors. So so then you now have, that's your, so this is, so that's your color panel right here. So this is like, so these are your basic tools on this side. So as you practice, you get to know them more. But I want to show you guys so I've showed you guys the tools, but then we're going to have to like do a practical so you guys can actually understand and know what you guys are doing. So let's try creating a logo using text. So select your text tool, watch me do it, and then it will be your assignment. So that you guys don't have to keep going back and forth. So that you guys don't have to keep going back and forth. Just pay attention to what I'm doing so that you guys can do it as an assignment. Okay, so first things first, we press our type tool, we click, and we write TF. Okay, so let's say we're creating a logo for Tom Ford. So you type in TF, you drag it out so that you can see what you're doing. Just make it big because it doesn't really matter. We're going to be manipulating the text. So in order to manipulate this text, you have to convert your text to shape. So now it is text. So whenever you see this big outline, that means it's still a text. So what you're going to do is right click and create outline. So what that means now is that I have converted my TF to shapes, but they are in a group. So you click again and you ungroup them. And you ungroup them. So now you can manipulate each one separately. So you can place it under like that. You can copy paste it. Go to your, I'm just showing you an example. This is not what I'm doing. We can go to our reflect tool, double click, and it will reflect it so you can see what you're doing. You can press OK, click, you drag, and you more or less have a logo. All right, but what I'm going to do is something different. What I want to do is that I want to make T and F one shape. So I am going to select both T and F, and here you have the align tools. So just like your Microsoft Word, how you align, you left align, center, and right, your Illustrator does the same thing. So what you're going to do now is you're going to top align. So make sure everything is in one line at the top. Okay. So you select everything and just make sure everything is okay. You could do not make it centered because you get something really confusing, which isn't what we want. What we want is that you can make out the T and you can make out the F. That is the main point. So what I'm going to do is pressing shift, I'm going to pull it in to the point that it looks like, okay. So someone said we should redo the part where we change the text to a shape. So we're pressing TF. Again, I'm going through the whole process from beginning. So what you're going to do is right click, look for create outlines. Creating outlines just means you're making your text into a shape. You click and you've created a shape. Then you right click again and you ungroup so that you can deal with everything separately. Okay, so I'm going to leave these down here. So back to this one. So what I'm going to do now is I could leave it like this, but there I can see some mistakes and I can see things I want to change. So for example, this area is longer than this side. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to shift it back in a little bit. Okay, I'm still going to shift it in. So it still looks off to me. So what I'm going to do, so now using your direct selection tool, I can see each anchor point separately. So what you could do one of two things. You could either reduce this till it comes to the point of the T, or I could go to the T, which would be easier, and select each anchor point. So let's do that again. So when you select your shape, you can see all the anchor points. So select the anchor points you want to change. So I'm going to select this down one. All right. Then if I select the top one, it's going to move to that top part. So what you're going to do is you click the bottom one, and then you hold shift and you select the top. So when you've selected that, you can then drag it out. You can drag it top, bottom. So to make sure it stays straight, you still have to hold the shift key and drag it out till you are okay. So now that I'm looking at it, it looks balanced. All right. But when you get to a point in design where you can see mistakes, so this T now and this F, their width are not the same. If you're not picky about things like this, you can leave it alone. But when you zoom in, really in, you could see what I'm talking about. So if you press your T and you zoom in, you can see this little bottom part that does not match up with the F. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, since my T is bigger than my F, it is only logical that I make the F as thick as the T. So how are we going to do that? You're going to use your direct selection tool again. You select that point. All right, and then you select the holding shift. Don't forget, whenever you're selecting more than one anchor point, you hold shift. So you select that one. So let's go do that again. So you select the first one and hold shift. Second one, hold shift. There's a very high chance this will not work. So let's see if it happens. So you see what I mean? My anchor points have gone crazy. But do not despair. Control Z fixes everything. So how do I go about fixing this problem? So I'm going to go back. So I'm going to shift so I can see. So it's clear that I can't see what I'm doing. So some of you, so I want to just quickly address this because a lot of you will encounter this problem. If by mistake your screen looks like this means all you see are outlines. What I want you to do is press Command Y and it fixes everything, because I know in my past trainings, you might do Command T or something, you end up here. So this enables you to just see the lines in your drawing. Okay? So I like to work like this whenever I'm trying to fix mistakes that are this tiny, because I can still select my anchor points. I can still select my anchor points and fix them. So So what I'm going to do now is, this is something that is very tiny. Some people, you don't have to be this bothered about it. I'm just being very nitpicky because I will not be happy until I have fixed this problem. So we're going to pick this anchor point and the anchor point for the F on the other side. And you can either, using your arrow key, you can raise or bring it down. So for me, I would prefer to bring it down a little bit, but using your mouse, you can drag it till you feel like it has matched. So for example, now, if you can see, that's why I like using the outline, because now I can see that they all are on one line and they are seamless. So when I let go, as you can see, there's no, that little thing at the end is no longer there. And I have a complete logo. So if I press Command Y, everything goes back to normal. Everything is right as rain. Okay, so now we're just going to do cleanup. This part of logo, this part is when you are sure you have finished what you want to do. When you are very, very sure that this is the logo you want, you can always Control Z and change it, but I'm just saying. So we're going to use our shape builder tool, which is what it makes it, and you create shapes from other shapes. So what you're going to do is select everything, click and drag, then you go to your shape builder tool. All right, and then you, as you can see, it is a plus there, which is what I want, because I'm going to make every shape one shape. Okay, so now I'm going to click and drag across everything. So I've made a shape from the top. Now I have to do that for this other part of the F, because this part is a separate shape now from the rest of the shapes. Same thing, you click and you drag and you have one final shape. But now I'm looking at my logo and I'm a bit confused, because people might be very, very confused about what this is. What I'm going to do now is draw a line across. Using my shape tool, I'm going to go to my shape, press my line segment, and then come to my shape. So I want people to know that there is a T and an F in this logo. Like when you look at it, that's the first thing I want you to see. So you see this pink line, this is just telling me that, oh, I am in the middle of this shape that I have created. So I'll click at the top, from the top, and bring it down till the end. You holding shift it to make sure that it is straight, perfectly straight. And I let go. So I let you look and give it the color white. So this is, we're going to give it a color white. Because our ad body is white, everything is okay. All right, so if I let go now, what you see are two different shapes. Okay, but now I'm looking at it and I don't like it, so I can easily take it out. So I don't know whether to leave it in or out. So for you guys, you could easily so that time, what you're going to do is copy paste. So you select everything, click and drag, Control Z, Control V, and you have the same thing. But it's just that what we're going to do is that since one has the line, we're going to delete it. So now we have two. We have two. So for me, when I look at them side by side, so I realize what I want to do with it. It's just now I realize why I don't like it is because it makes the stems of the letters look too thin, while the top is really big. So I'll go back with my direct selection tool again. Click, click, then you use shift, holding shift. I'll make it bigger so it looks balanced. Same thing, you click, and you drag. Same thing, you click, holding, you drag to yeah, okay. So now I feel like it is a more balanced logo because my F and my T, the stems look very okay. Look very, very okay. So what I want you guys to do now is I've taken you through using the shape builder tool, using the line, using direct selection, using stroke, using fill, and also creating shapes out of text. So these are basic, very, very basic things every designer should know at the beginning of their design journey. So I want you guys to go and create using two letters. So you use your direct selection tool, a shape. You have to introduce a shape into the logo. Mine was a line. Using your text, using your shape builder, using your fill and your stroke. So that is the assignment for today. Maya and I will close the class. It was nice teaching the class and meeting everyone. See you guys in the next one.
Hello, once again, everyone. Like I mentioned the last time, Illustrator is not the easiest of them all. It is very tricky. It's very difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's very tricky, very difficult. So you have to keep practicing because consistency is key in Illustrator. So you have to keep practicing. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions for today's class. So once the class is done, we're going to upload it on YouTube. The whole session has been recorded, like all our previous sessions, and we'll upload it on YouTube so you can check. If you have any questions, I added Mariam O to the group today because she has been sick. Please, if you have any questions, you can message in the group or you can send her a message personally. And just to go through the tutorials again, I'm going to upload more tutorials for Illustrator in the Google Classroom. So I'm sure you all have access to that, right? We're going to upload that and we will continue the class tomorrow by God's grace. Thank you all for joining. Please refer your questions to the group or to Mariam O directly. Okay, Howard doesn't have access to the Google class. Please, if you don't have access to it, send your email to the WhatsApp group. We're going to add you right away. Thank you everyone for joining. Refer your questions to WhatsApp. I hope you had a great session today. Thank you to Mariam O also for joining this class. See you tomorrow.